Asteroid of fear.
Well, this is going to be a strange one. Maybe. If you know me, it may not be so strange. Or if you've heard all the solos, all the Unfiltered Fridays, um, I don't know. It depends. Have you been listening? And have you been listening closely? We're going to find out. So, welcome to another episode of the Men of the House podcast, and it is Unfiltered Friday. And I am Richard, your host. So, thank you for joining me. Thank you for spending your time with me, be it at midnight, Friday morning, Friday evening, Saturday, Sunday, any day of the week. Hell, just not on Monday because it goes in the vault. So I hope you're catching it before then. But if not, then I guess you'll have to fork over the pesos. Yeah, yeah. The dineros. Don't worry, there's no tariffs. straight, straight $5. I don't know if anybody's charging tax, but yeah. Any hoodles. Um, wow. What are we going to talk about today? Maybe the fourth dimension? It's been interesting. I've had an interesting week. So, yeah, as you guys know, if you've been listening, if you've been following along with my journey, I have been working on, I don't know what you want to call it. I'm going to make sure I'm recording here. Yep. Would it be called like straightening yourself out, coming to conclusions, purpose in life? I think I told you guys last week I'm reading The Purpose Driven Life by Rick Warren. Talking about God's purpose, talking about faith. Um, but um, let me see how I can explain this to get everybody's heads wrapped around it because I'm just barely getting my head wrapped around it. So this week, my wife is on vacation. It's her birthday. So her mother took her on a cruise. So we've had some space, we've had some time, and this gives me time to like process. It's just me and my 11-year-old. Take her to school, pick her up, do my thing in between. Had a lot of time to think and process over feelings. So I've been trying to process feelings, emotions, thoughts. Um, I'm in therapy. Holy fuck. Uh, how to explain this? Mm. Let's we'll start it this way. How about let's look at the past over 2 years, past 3 years roughly. It was about 3 years ago that I decided I needed to change. This all came about. I don't want to go into the details, but um, my wife and I were just in a place that wasn't good, you know, possibly ready for divorce. And that's not what I wanted. Um, Drinking was a contributing factor on my end. Um, but, takes two to tango. We're both guilty of how we got there. Um, but essentially, whatever happened, like, I just didn't feel good enough. I didn't feel like I was enough. And as I've started therapy and reconciling all these thoughts and feelings, I've come to understand even the past 3 years, the 64-pound weight loss, 2 years of podcasting, everything I've done that's positive, it still wasn't for me. It was for my daughter. It was for my wife. Yeah, let that sink in. Positive, yes, but not for me. Let me explain. Um, Man, so each of us has like a core wound. Mine is not feeling like enough. And this core wound will follow you and surface different parts in your life till you address it. And sometimes you don't even know that it's governing you, but it is. And it shows up your behaviors, your choices. Um, so let's start kind of from the beginning. So I was almost not born three times. Yeah, I was almost lost during pregnancy. Then I was born premature, 3 pounds 11 ounces, underdeveloped lungs, asthma. Got burned as a child, spent months in the burn unit, Shriners. Um, you know, always in the house. Didn't get to do some of the stuff that other kids did, although I did play Little League football. But, my mother was very, like, mm, worried, protective, naturally. But we're setting up this thing, you're too little, you're too sick, you're never going to be big, you're never going to be able to do the things that other people do. You won't be able to go in the military. That's your dream because you have asthma. Um, you see the theme? You're not enough. Whether it's because you're broken, you're small, all of it. But there's a theme. You're not enough. Let's fast forward to high school. 4'11", 90 pounds. Luckily, I played Little League football because I was too small to play and just kept getting hurt. In junior high, ended up taking up tennis. I graduated high school year early, joined the Navy nuclear program, got a full scholarship off of active duty. And when I came back from Japan for the scholarship, or it was sometime after that, my parents had split. And that like upended my world. And then I had this kind of like period, this hiatus of doing my thing, cooking, playing guitar, just living life. South Florida. Um, One of the happiest periods of my life for sure. And then I don't know after that. Like I came back, I think ended up going to undergrad school, and then moved away. Um, I keep trying to think of when this stuff surfaces. There was always that being torn of, doing what's right. Um, mm, well, let me put it to you this way. The person I dated before my wife, father fucking hated me because I wasn't good enough. So that's about 28 years old. So that sticks with me. Um, so I move away. I meet my wife. We start doing life together. And I'm trying to think where it starts to surface again. Other than the past 3 years. Um, well, let's see. Getting laid off. That was even though I knew it was business, being the first time I'd ever been laid off from a job felt not good enough. So you see that theme. You're not good enough. You're not enough. You'll never be enough. So, what did I do? I've spent 49 years trying to prove, not to me, to everyone else, that I'm enough. Hmm. Natural, but how fucking dumb. This is where I have to forgive myself, for sure. Um, so I've been listening to a lot of Andrew Bustamante from Everyday Spy and Chase Hughes. And, they were interrogators. Chase Hughes has NCI Neurocognitive at Institute University, but he does this whole thing on body language, words, identity, confidence, all this stuff. And it's funny because he was talking about like some different things. Like when we talk about mirroring, how people who like each other may mirror each other. You don't mirror somebody to get you to kind of get into them. You actually, mirroring is the symptom of a deeper connection. And, where this comes in is kind of this connection to self and kind of, well, it, it's kind of talking about how we carry around shame, fear, grief, anger, maybe. I forget what the five were. But we carry these things around and they impact your feelings. Your feelings impact what you're projecting to the outside world. Uh, and people can read that on you. Some people, if you're attuned to it. And in working on myself, I feel like I'm starting to become attuned to it because when I see people, I see I see their pain, I see their hurt. I don't see like if Andrew Bustamante says like, okay, you have your outward life, your public life, then you have your personal life, which has like for me and my wife, people who know things about me that may be less than savory. And then you have your secret life, which is kind of where you hold the shame. You may not even tell your wife or other people some of the things you've done. But that shit sits in your body. And in order to not allow it to come out, if you suppress it, then you're kind of overcompensating for it. And how does this tie into the me? um, well, it's kind of about saying, mm, Man, having a little word problem here, processing, but it kind of boils down to a confidence in a way, a self forgiveness in a way, like delusional self forgiveness. It all ties to self worth. I didn't feel worthy because I was ashamed of something I'd done 30 years ago. Okay. I let that follow me around. I let those feelings seep into my body, cause a lot of trauma, nerves, stress, and that dictated some of the choices I've made the past 30 years. And it's so weird. I was watching that Chase Hughes, and it's like, he had this example of like, I should feel bad. Yes, I felt bad about what I did 30 years ago. But it's not like you should fucking put it in a bag and carry it around for 30 years. And he says, like, some of it is like we feel like we deserve, like we should feel bad because we did something wrong. Yes, but we're sinners. We're, n- we're never going to get it right. We can never. That's why Jesus died on the cross. It's not saying don't try. It's not saying don't learn a lesson. But 30 years. And then it compounds into other things. Shame is like, what did he say? I shouldn't have done that. Should have done this. Should all over yourself. Keyword of redirection could. Yeah, I could have not slept with a married woman 30 years ago, but I did. You see my body language. You see me getting nervous. um, could. Could have gone different. It didn't. It's the way it went. But he said something interesting. I'm not in control of the past. I'm only in control of the future. And I'm building self-worth and self-confidence. It's about self-worth. He's like, you start small. If you have trouble keeping promises to yourself, you start small. You start with something small. What is it? State assign, self-approver, self-assign, approved, something like that, where you say, I'm going to do this, you do it, and then you get your dopamine hit by saying, I did it. I kept my word to myself. But Chase Hughes put it in a good way of, he said, like kind of doing something for your future self. For instance, this morning, like the past 2 nights, I've slept 3 hours each night. It's been shitty. And I did not want to go to the gym. It was leg day because I missed Monday or Wednesday. Um, because I had to take the dog into town, stay in town as a whole deal. But anyhow, today was leg day. I did not want to go. 2 nights of getting 3 hours of sleep, it'll put you in the mood. And I did not want to do shit. But I had to ask, well, what is good for future Richard? What is future Richard going to be proud of? I can tell you, future Richard wouldn't have been proud of making leg day tomorrow, making an excuse, putting off the episode because I wasn't sure how this would come out. But yeah, if you that's not good for future Richard. What was good for future Richard? Getting legs in, hydrating, proper nutrition, recording. And you see, that's how you build up that credibility with yourself, self worth. And so it's like taking all these kind of different concepts and connecting the dots is kind of what I've been doing while I was Ubering, of like this aha of like my whole life. I have been trying to prove because I had low self worth, never felt like I was good enough or enough, and was always proving to the outside. I didn't hit my growth spurt, so it's like girls don't want to date you. They're like, "Oh, he's cute, but he's too little. I would date him, but he's too little." That's pretty shitty as a man. Man, it does not do anything for your fucking self worth. And you always think like, well, maybe when everybody's grown up and people are normal size, and um, when height isn't the metric, I guess. I was like, maybe when girls were interested in success or something, I would have that, and you know, that would fulfill my worth, I guess you could say. But yeah, I was always chasing that external validation. He said, think about when you were like 7 or 8, like that's the program you're running. Like, how did you keep friends? I think he said, what did you do and how did you do to keep friends? Because that's often the same thing you'll do now. Um, how did you feel safe? Maybe for me, it was isolating because the familial house was kind of crazy. Um, and how did you get rewards? Well, for me, I got rewards by overachieving at everything. If it wasn't my parents, if it wasn't the girls, if it wasn't proving to everyone around me that I was worth something, I'm valuable, just because I'm small, just because I was 3 pounds, 11 ounces, because I couldn't mow the lawn like other kids, because I had asthma. Um, I graduated high school year early, went to the Texas A&M Corps Cadets, dropped out of there and joined the Navy. Um, got a full scholarship off of active duty. Dated super hot chick at University of Florida. That was a form of validation. She crushed me. She taught me some stuff too. But man, and I'm unsure how I look back on this. It's funny because I was watching, I think it was Andrew Bustamante with Diary of a CEO, and he talks about how, like, the CIA, they look kind of for people with trauma, that people with trauma, anxiety, they lend themselves to certain qualities that make good spies. Whether it be awareness, but they also take advantage of it because people who are searching for something like that, like myself, very loyal. That's what's fucked me over in so many things: relationships, jobs, me being overly loyal, never looking out for myself. Yeah, it still happens. That's from a fucked up childhood of not being enough. Andrew said his was kind of the same way. Like, his father passed away before he was born. He had a stepdad. He went to the Air Force Academy because his parents always push achievement too, and it made sense because if the parents push achievement, then it's like this thing. Well, because he was saying maybe his mom really didn't want to be a mom, but was expected to, Catholic Latina type of thing. But if you raise a successful child when they turn 18 and get a scholarship, they can get the fuck out of the house, and mom can go back to being mom. Yeah, there's just so much, because that was an area of interest for me too. Military, CIA, all that stuff. That was what I thought my career path would be. And I look back on it and I go, I don't know if I'm thankful or because if I had gotten in a job like that, I think I would have fit the profile perfectly, actually, honestly. Um, but I do believe I could have been a person that they could have overly brainwashed into over loyalty to do things maybe that are morally ambiguous. Mm. But it's not what God had planned. And so, in an effort to not in control of the past, you know, would I be somewhere different, somewhere more, have some of the things that I feel like I'm missing, which I don't really feel like I'm missing much, honestly, me as an individual. But there are these wickets, I guess you get as men, as families in age, that whether it's we wish we had this or you should have been able to do this by now. I mean, I was in school with people who were fucking retired, who were commanders of destroyers. I could have easily done that because I believed in my capabilities. I believed I was as smart, if not smarter, than a lot of my peers, people to the right and left of me. For me, it was always about I. I was confident in my ability, but I could never figure out what was worth it. And I could never figure out, I partially followed what I wanted, which led to some happier periods. But on the other parts, when I was kind of when I was doing the people pleasing thing, because I wanted validation, I wanted approval, I wanted to make people proud, I wanted to feel like enough. And if you're a conform to the rules, do what you're told, good student, because you want to go to the Naval Academy and blah, 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 who doesn't fucking love that? As a parent, a teacher, whoever, everything looks like, oh, yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. No, shit was lacking emotionally. All that achievement bullshit, that's the symptom of the cause of something internally off. Missing something. Safety, love. My family, not very touchy feely. Latino family, not very talky either. I don't ever remember hearing I love you from grandparents or even my mom. I mean, their actions show they do, but the words were never there. But yeah, I've spent my whole life going, hmm, even the past 3 years of wanting my wife or somebody, anyone to say, hey, good job, you lost 65 pounds. Look at you. Oh, you stuck with podcasting. Good job. Wanted somebody to say, oh, man, you've really fucking gone through it and you've managed to come out. Good job. And I think some people do. And I don't want to take any value away from that, but the meaning doesn't quite hit me. Why? Because to me, that's what's expected. I thought that's how everybody thinks, how everybody does, that everybody wants to do a good job, that everybody wants to reach their potential. But you see, it doesn't feel the same because I'm not saying good job to me. It doesn't hold the value to me because I don't hold the value to myself. But as I was driving around, Ubering, and I connected all these dots, I had to say, I am enough. Me. To me. Me to me. 8-year-old Richard, you are enough. You're not going to be the shortest person forever. Girls aren't always going to think that. Achievement is just achievement. Good grades are just good grades. I was like, I don't know how people don't get good grades. It's just fucking do the work. If you just fucking do the work, you'll pass. Never understood what was so fucking hard about it. But on that note, it wasn't too much later in life that I really enjoyed school and the discussion that the value is there, not in fucking regurgitating whatever that you're never going to fucking use again for some odd fucking purpose. I don't know. Yeah, you hear the nerves right there. That's stress and anxiety, but it's got to come out. And I think you guys need to hear it. I am real. This is, but yeah, it's been 2 days of this, of realizing what you've done to your life by doing this. But I can't. I'm not gonna let it fuck me over and fuck up whatever time I have left. I mean, I'm 49. Average what life expectancy for US people is like 74, 75. So let's say I get 25, 27 years left. Yeah, maybe I'll get 47, 48 like Buck. 49. Yeah. Um Maybe I won't. I don't know that I want to. That was an eye-opening experience. For me it's whatever. God's will. Whatever the universe, God, whatever you need. I'm here. And I feel like that's the way I've always been. Is I've always thought my purpose was different, maybe. Um, and I don't. I'm not gonna say I still don't know, but it's kind of unfolding in real time. – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – You just lived the past 3 years for your fucking wife and daughter. Not that I have any regret for that at all. At all. I love them both. They deserve the better version of me, 100%. But it's really time to love me, for me to be okay with me, for me to be proud of me, for me to do things because I want to do them, because they fill my cup, because they make me happy, because they're aligned with my spirit and the person I want to be and what I want to give back. For me. And I talked about like those wickets, like, oh man, I could be retired, I should have a house, and blah 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 blah. Blah. All this, I should be fucking further along. Every fucking thing. Is it ever gonna happen? Am I doing the right thing? That, that governed, flooded my emotions, my brain, and my life. Oh man, probably at least the past 5 years. I mean, I've had moments where I was okay and felt like I was on track, but I just fucking realized the past 2 days. I mean, you need to do you. And everybody are running these programs in the background like your phone. A little 8 year old, and I see it. And I see it on everyone. And I see it everywhere. And I had started seeing this weeks ago, a month ago, maybe. Because I've been doing a lot of fucking, been going through it. Everything from therapy to books to videos to anything, trying to figure out what the fuck is up with me. It's not anything up with me. This is fucking life. But when you see the whole world, their public persona is the projection of all those fucking 8 year old insecurities and whatever their home life was like, whatever their parents were like, whatever their friends were like, all these fucking little scared kids on the playground, or maybe confident. That's what I see when I see people. And the world looks different. um, Diary of a CEO. There's a clip on Everyday Spy or there, Andrew Bustamante again. And he talks about kind of being trapped in this shed, and those programs kind of keep us trapped in this shed, this framework. And what the CIA taught him was, I guess, how to get out. And it's a good video. But essentially, it's like imagine you have a single window. He said, you're inside of a cabin or a shed. There's a single window, but it's dirty. It's got residue. Maybe it's foggy from the heat, and you can't see clearly out the window. But on the other side of the window, it's sunny and beautiful. Maybe the perfect day. It's like a metaphor for life. and we do all these different things, except all you got to do is open the window. But you have to do it. And then Steven had this video. He's like, this is one of my favorite videos. And it's this little video of like, there's an ant crawling on a pad. They take a marker and they draw a circle around the ant. And the ant will not go past the marker, the barrier, the circle. It stays in the circle. Then it figures out, travels outside of the circle. They draw another circle, a smaller circle. The ant gets stuck in the circle till it figures it can get out. That it's just a black line, that it's not an actual barrier, and so forth. That's our life. Our parents, our teachers, society, religions. They're all those black little circles. And like the ant, sometimes we feel trapped in it, never realizing it's just a marker that we can just walk past. A little mind blown thing there for the watchers. Um, yeah, I know last Unfiltered Friday only got a couple of listens. So only a few of you, the loyal listeners, are going to get this. Maybe consider yourself lucky if you can comprehend it, understand it, implement it, which I'm working on. Maybe you'll see the world differently too. It's funny because Chase said that we have this thing, like you could look at my body language, something you're embarrassed about or whatever. He said like men will typically cover their crotch. You can see me. I have my hands across my waist, um, because there's no bones. Sometimes, but or he said like women will cover their uterus. You know, there's nothing there to protect, so it's like this mammalian instinct to um, want to cover and protect because we feel vulnerable, we feel scared, we feel fear. I'm gonna open up here. He said even if you're totally comfortable, like let's say Joe Rogan, um, there's still something in our brain that has a concern for how we're gonna look on camera to the outside world, since this is kind of going down in history. But yeah, he made this other great thing of going like let's say you're going to a job interview. Um get a haircut, get my suit, all that stuff. Go in, have all the right answers, fucking looking sharp. You got it. You're showing up. But let's say at home, overbill dues, overbill dues, overdue bills, fucking pile of laundry, your house is a mess, blah, blah, blah. You can, he said, maybe you go in there, nail the interview, but the person interviewer might just get a gut feeling like, something's off. Something's just not right. That whole background shit, the overdue bills, pile of laundry, you knowing that, it bothering you, knowing that you're not, I guess, living up to your potential, that comes out in your body language and it gives people a certain feeling that gut feeling of, mm, now there's just something off. So think about that in your life. Because the idea is to get these two to overlap where there's no discrepancy, I guess. Meaning, like for me, I have been in this fucking crazy mental state. And, you know, your body looks for the most efficient way to do things because it likes to save energy, which is why and how we fall into bad habits and patterns because it's easy to do the same bullshit you always do, even if it's painful and you don't like it. It's easy. So it's about tackling those areas. Remember, future me. What would future me like? Well, future me would appreciate laundry done. No overdue bills. No fucking pile of this or that. Once future me understands that, future me starts working on that. And then guess what? I'm working towards it. I know I'm taking care of it. That provides a sense of me being my best self. And when I go out into the world, the feeling I should give you is, hey, this is a good guy. This is a real guy. 100% real and authentic. Well, because I see the 8-year old person in pain of you. I've expressed mine, so you're allowed to see it. Whether or not you'll see it outwardly projected anymore, I hope not. I don't know. I'm sure it will. It's going to happen. But think about it like anytime you're angry, like for me, anger, fear. Fear is usually because you don't feel safe. Somehow, somewhere, something in the background is going on. What's the opposite of fear? Love. Do not fear, love. Whether that's fear of not having enough, any of it. I mean, that's what allowed me to kind of take on this role, even to start podcasting and kind of trying to be an entrepreneur. Was that my belief about that changed of what was important. Once I was able to show my wife, like, hey, like, whatever, it's all relevant. I made a lot more in a corporate job, but a lot more went out towards things that were kind of in that group. But think about it. Our basic needs are met. We have we have plenty. We don't want for food. We don't, you know, and it's always been that way. You're going to be fine. Yeah, family, it's always worked out. The evidence is there, so why doubt so much? But yeah, he was talking about, I think, it's like you got to have this general sense of things are going to work out. You got to be super self-forgiving. He said delusional. I'm not in control of the past. I'm only in control of the future. Fuck the past. It is what it is. It happened. Could have gone better, but it didn't. Half of learning what you want is learning what you don't want. is it David Bayer? I've been listening to him a lot too, where he's like, a master sculptor doesn't take a bunch of clay and start piecing it together like Mr. Potato Head and forming this and that. He goes, they take a block of clay and they remove the shit till it becomes a masterpiece. Life is a little bit of the same way. Although I've been fucking playing Mr. Potato Head for the past 49 years. But no more. Mm-mm. I know life's going to try to throw me back into that pattern because that's what life does. But you got to resist. You got to do the opposite. What's the opposite of what's giving you the bad feeling or what you're doing? Do the opposite. Opposite of fear is love. Man. See, I unconsciously was like, cover my stomach for the listeners or viewers. Man, yeah, your body language. I think I told you I had that interview with that guy who was like, um, what's one way, what's one food you would never eat no matter how it was prepared? And for me, it was eggs. And he said something and I sunk down in my shoulders. He's like, your body language shows. So trust me, you think you're not giving off stuff. You think all this stuff, these background programs don't come out and make up who you are. They absolutely do. You're acting it out every day, every minute. So we got to update the programs. For me, I got to work on sleep because what it the CIA officer said, sleep and exercise, two things you need for cognitive function. When you're out there, your life is in danger. Your diet can fluctuate, many things can fluctuate, but you need sleep because that impacts your quality of decision making and your thoughts. Your thoughts and words kind of become your reality because, yeah, that was the other interesting thing with Chase Hughes. He says, these are parts of our mammalian brain that do this stuff. And language isn't that old. So he said, like, there's some things that they go right to that mammalian brain, like whether it's mannerisms, this or that, the other, because language isn't that old. And so he talked about when he talked about setting goals, it was funny or whatever. Some of these things, like talking about confidence, he was like, it's similar to like dog training. Like, he goes, how would you show your dog your goals? You wouldn't tell him because the dog don't fucking understand. Maybe you show him pictures. Okay. We're kind of the same way because our mammalian brain does not understand, doesn't pick up the language, wasn't that developed. And so, yeah, it's about controlling your thoughts and making sure they're positive. Because I forget, out of all the thoughts we have today, in a day, I mean, thousands, and well, I don't know if it's 40 to 60% are negative. So it's like you got to fucking drown them out. Repetition. I mean, whether it's, I don't know, affirmations, it's definitely better to say something positive than negative, 100%. But it's like all of it. I mean, I have been working, searching, exploring. I think I told you guys I had that big book of brain from when I was young, 9 or 10. I have been interested in the mind and how it fucking controls things my entire life. Maybe why I wanted to go into the CIA or something. So when you think about that, I don't know if this is, it's not, it's not really a mind hack. It's just you start realizing all the false narratives. You, you start to understand, man, your brain can really fuck you over. Um, it's hard. But, I want to take my challenge, my goal, my call to action for myself is I want to look at the each day now of like in amazement of like imagine what could happen today as opposed to, oh, is it ever going to happen? I've been podcasting for 2 years. Is anybody listening? Am I ever going to get more than this many listens, this many subscribers? Is anybody going to notice? Is it valuable? Um, am I ever going to be able to do this? Am I always going to be feel what I feel like is struggle? Am I always going to be struggling? Oh, man, if you fucking think like that, I feel it right here. Um, just even saying the words, and that moves you into that fight or flight, your nerves. And I've been working on this. I think I've talked a lot about pivot, being able to not stay stuck in an emotion and pivot and move on. Well, that's what I've been practicing, be it through breathing, through thoughts. Um, but I want to look at each day as like, man, anything could happen. Today could be the best day of my life. I'm going to get a massage here in a minute. Awesome. But I could get an email. I could get a call from somebody I admire who says, I love your podcast. I love the content. I want you to be part of my thing, and we're going to help take this to the next level. I believe in you. And while that would feel good, and that's what I want, I know I still have a lot of work to do. I know where I can get better. But yeah, I'm comfortable with me. I can do this, especially with the right mentors, support. Yeah, this could go to the next level. I plan on it. But that's how I want to look at the world. Hey, money just arrived. IRS is behind. My check arrived. I want to stop looking at the world as like that other way. I want every day to be the possible best day of my life. Whether it's meeting a cool person, being able to do something for somebody, a financial gift that allows me to do something I want to do. I have some ideas. I have a little book of tiny hopes and dreams and some stuff I want to do for other people in there. But yeah, I want God, the universe, whoever, the collective powers that be to, hey, let's do this. We can do this. It's going to be what you make it. But yeah, I feel like I've shifted somewhat. And for those of you who get to hear and listen to this, maybe you can tell. Others, maybe you can't. And if you miss this and you see me out and you're like, oh, there's something different about him, what was it? I'm going to tell you to go subscribe and hit this episode up because this is why. If I seem different, this is why. So Yeah. Like the one guy said, he goes, once I do all this stuff for you, you're going to have a story when you go back to your office and tell them when they're going to notice something's different about you. And you're going to have an excuse of XYZ happened to me. But it's really nothing other than seeing the world for what it is, I guess. Seeing reality for what it is. I don't know if that's what you want to call it. I don't know if it's an understanding of the universe, reality. Things are just connecting and clicking. And yeah. But anywho, I'm gonna go get my massage. So until next time, go out and be the person that you would want to meet. And I sure as fuck hope to meet you out there someday. I love you guys. Thank you for spending your time with me. And I look forward to spending more time together. So reach out, tune in, tell somebody about it. And yeah, peace.
Asteroid